Hello friends, how are you today? Paula here. Welcome back to my channel, The Flavorful Home. Welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new, how are you? I am so happy you're here today, and I hope you consider visiting more often. I have an important share today. I have to share a tragedy. I think I may have killed my mama. This is mama. Born on September of 2020. So my sourdough starter, Mama, is 2 years old this month. I don't remember the exact day that I created her. I just remember that it was September of 20. And much like everybody else, I jumped on the crazy bread bandwagon and it morphed into deciding to give sourdough a shot. And I'm here to say it is almost impossible to kill your sourdough starter. Other than a bad bacteria getting into it, I know I have seen videos of people pulling out a sourdough starter that hasn't been fed in months and they bring it back. I thought I did it a couple of times and went into an absolute panic. The most recent one was this past spring. I don't know if I hit the wrong button on my scale, but the measurements were completely out of whack, and I was devastated because I didn't want to have to start her over. I love the fact that she's 2 years old already, and I hope I have her for as long as I'm alive. Um, I had to feed her every day for several days just to get her back up again. And then we were good to go. I popped her right back in the fridge. I am a lazy sourdough starter keeper. I don't keep it on my counter. I don't feed her every day. I don't feed her every other day. I try to be diligent. I'd say I feed her every 10 to 14 days. Um, that seems to work fine, but it doesn't always happen. Sometimes it'll be 3 weeks before I feed her again, and it doesn't hurt it. Like I said, other than something foul somehow getting into the mix when you're feeding it, it's pretty tough to kill off a sourdough starter. And you'll know because it'll have a bad smell or you'll see mold on it. And that has never happened. And don't mistake that grayish hooch, the liquid on top, because the starter is hungry, as something that hurts it. It doesn't. I'm going to put the recipe I followed. I followed King Arthur's sourdough starter. I'll put the exact one I used in the description box. And I am going to hook you up with an amazing recipe from a wonderful baker. Her name is Leanne, and her website is Lion's Bread. Um, she just bakes these beautiful, beautiful breads and pastries, and it's called Lazy Girl Sourdough Bread. Why is it Lazy Girl? Because you could use unfed starter right from the fridge. And she's the first person I've seen do that. Most of them tell you not only does it have to be fed, but you have to catch it when it's at the height of its feeding. So I'll put a link to that. Now, that doesn't mean you pull your starter out 2 weeks later. This is 2, 3, maybe even 4 days after a feeding, and just follow the recipe. And my bread has been awesome every time. I've even done add-ins, cranberry walnut. It's just delicious and it comes beautiful. That, how much better can you get? Not only can you keep your starter in the fridge, but so on the third day, you say, you know what, I'm going to make that sourdough. Just pop it out and you're ready to rock. So let's turn you around and we'll show you how I feed my starter. Come on. All righty. You see that liquid. That's called hooch. It's just from the starter fermenting. You can mix it in or you can pour it out. For the most part, I usually pour it out. I just find I don't like mixing it into my sourdough starter. And it's nothing to be afraid of. It doesn't hurt it. It's just part of the sourdough process. Alrighty, friends. I have my scale here. I know some people are somewhat resistant to this, but I've been using a scale for about 10 years now. I'm big on baking, and I just find a scale makes measuring much easier and more precise, especially when it comes to bread. So I got this model on Amazon and it works fine. It has several measurements: grams, milliliters, pounds and ounces, and ounces. I use grams. That's what most of the bread measurements are. And you put your bowl on, you tear it out, which takes away the weight of the bowl. And I'm going to measure out 100 grams of starter. I poured most of the hooch out. Let me just show you. I got rid of most of the hooch, but there's still a little bit. I'm just going to give it a whirl. And I do 100, 100, and 100 of starter, flour, water when I feed. Some people do 50, 100, 100. I like it straight just like that. I'm gonna pour out till it says 100. And if it says 101, it's okay. It's not gonna hurt anything if it's a little extra. Because some always stays behind in the bowl. You never get the full amount out. I'm going to cancel it out again. Back to 0. Now I'm going to add my 100 grams of water. There you go. I'm going to cancel it out again. And here comes and I just use plain old flour. I don't use organic flour, just plain all-purpose flour. And we're going to get that to 100. Again, if it's, there you go, 100. If it's a little over, it's okay. Shut this off. And you just blend your starter with the water and the flour. Get it combined nice. It's, I don't know, I guess you could say pancake batter consistency, maybe a little bit more than that. I try to get all those lumps out. It has such a lovely smell. You can smell that sour, pungent aroma from the starter. It is just so nice. And this is what it looks like. It's really rough to kill a starter. I'll be honest with you. I thought I did a couple of times, and she's fine. So, alrighty, we'll get we'll get her container cleaned up and put her back in. Okay, my jar is all cleaned out. I think I might have to make it a little higher up because this jar is high. And I just get it all in there. I love it. It smells like sourdough bread. I just love it. Okay, I'm gonna pull you down. I'll show you. I mark and I don't close it tight. I just let it rest like that. I make my little mark of where it is, and I can then judge how much she's risen. You see how I have a little bit of space there. Okay, we're gonna let her do her thing. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I'll come back and show you how she's grown. It's been about 2 hours, and she's just about doubled in size. She might get a bit bigger. Some days the starter is more vigorous than others. It all depends on your kitchen and the ratio, but it might get a little bit higher. But that's just been a couple of hours, and you could see all the bubbles in there. It's looking good. All right. 5.5 hours, and it's definitely more than doubled. Here's the line, and it's almost up to the label. There you go. Well, there you go. How'd you like that? It's not hard. Follow the ratios. Use filtered water to keep chlorine and whatnot out. And you have a sourdough starter. And your family will float into the kitchen wondering what that delightful smell is that is coming out of it when you bake them fresh bread. And there is nothing better. First of all, you have to try to have the patience to not cut the bread as soon as you get it out. You should always, with any bread, give it about 20 minutes, if you could wait 30, just to let the bread cool down. It's best, but it's tough. And sometimes we've waited maybe 10 minutes, and you smear it with butter, or you put fresh homemade jam. Oh my gosh, so good. I want you to try it. Don't be afraid. And don't be afraid if you make a mistake. It's okay. There is no such thing as mistakes. It's just learning experiences. You can say, all right, I got to make sure I don't do this next time. And like I said, I'll think about dehydrating my starter and possibly selling it, because sometimes when you get a starter that's already established and all you have to do is add the liquid to it and some flour, it's helpful. So I'll think about that too. In the meantime, thank you for coming. If you're new, thank you for visiting. I hope you'll subscribe. Shameless plug. Hit the thumbs up and the bell to get that algorithm and get my channel into the feed. My friends, go create something wonderful. Till next time. Bye-bye.